YouTube? Crack the Cars here, happy Friday. Now today I'm going to be gapping the piston rings on my B16 and I'm going to show you how to do it as well. Now for my setup, I'm running 81mm Wiseco pistons and they came with these Wiseco piston rings. And it is a little bit different based on your manufacturer, kind of how the rings are going to be designed, but the basic principle is the same. You've got a top ring, bottom ring, and then oil rings. Now for Wiseco rings, the top ring will always be a nice shiny silver like this. And you'll know which side goes up because there's a small N on it. You probably can't see it on the camera. The bottom ring, usually a little, it's got like a matte finish to it. Same thing, it's got that N. That side of the ring faces up. And then you've got your oil rings, which is made up of this accordion style ring right here. And then these thin rings right here that go on top and below of the accordion ring. Now in most cases your oil rings don't have to be gapped, they're usually set within tolerance from the manufacturer. So in today's video we're just going to be focusing on gapping the top and the bottom ring. Now to do this you're obviously going to need your oil rings, some sandpaper, a feeler gauge, some towels, WD-40, and a file or a Dremel or anything that you're pretty good at grinding with. Now probably the most important thing is that you know what specs you should be running for your gap on your top and second ring here. And a lot of times the manufacturer will send a sheet out with your rings that tell you the equation that you need to get that perfect gap based usually on your bore size and your either street or track application. Now for my case I'm looking for 19 thousandths of an inch on the top ring and about 21 or 22 thousandths of an inch on the second ring. Now, one thing that's really important is that your cylinders are already honed and have a nice clean finish. You want to lube them up with some WD-40. If you don't lube them up, sometimes you can scratch your block and that is no good. Now I'm going to go ahead and install my top ring first. Like I said earlier, I've got a little printed N on my ring here and I got to make sure that is facing north or facing up. You just install the ring by putting the bottom in first, sliding in the rest of it. And then to make sure your ring is sitting flush in there, you take a piston and you push it down equally on all sides. Like so. Alright, so now that you got the ring set in place, you can see that gap right there. And this is where the feeler gauge comes into play. Now remember, we're looking for 19 thousandths of an inch, and most feeler gauges will have a pretty wide range. Alright, now we're going to try 18 thousandths. So it looks like we got to file it about 2 thousandths of an inch down so we can get it right at that 19th thou. Carefully slide your ring back out, try not to scratch anything, and grab a file. Now what you want to do is pick one side and only file one side, do not alternate, and make sure you're going perfectly straight. You don't want to go at any angles because you want that gap to be perfectly parallel. So I'm going to start slowly filing this one side, only taking off a little bit of material. And you kind of want to focus on only filing inwards because you don't want any burrs or sharp metal hanging off the edge of here. Now after you're done filing, just to be safe, we're going to take that edge that we were working on and sand it down with some sandpaper. Just some fine grit stuff. What this does is kind of smooth out the end of the ring so you don't have to worry about scratching your cylinder walls. Now here we go, I'm going to install it again. Bust out the feeler gauge. We'll go back to 18. So that still feels pretty tight. It goes in a tiny bit, but looks like we're gonna have to file off a little more. Alright, so we did a little bit more filing. Again, sand off the edge. And measure again. Now this could take 2, 3, maybe 4 tries. Okay, there we go. So now the 18 goes in good. Let's check the 19. Yep, doesn't look like the 19 wants to go in there very far. So looks like a little bit more sanding for me. But if you really want to do the job right, you can get a actual stand that has a rotating file. It's called a ring file, And that's the best way to do this job. This is kind of like the DIY at-home method on the cheap. And once again, don't forget to sand that edge. Put a little bit more lube in there just in case it dried out. You can put lube on the edges of the ring as well. That doesn't hurt. And here we go again. Alright, so this should be the last time I gotta do this. Here we go with the 19,000ths. Oh, money. So what you want to feel is just a tiny bit of drag as you go in and out of that gap, and that's how you know you are right on the nuts. Now I'm gonna go ahead and see where I'm sitting with the bottom ring. So just like the top ring, push it in. Use the piston to press it down. Bust out your feeler gauge, and remember for this one I'm looking for about 21 or 22 thousandths of an inch. So I guess we could start with the 19. Yep, that goes in there easily. We'll try 20 thousandths. Yep, that goes in easily. We'll try the 22 thousandths. Oh my gosh. So that's really nice. I actually don't have to file that one because it is right on the money, right where I want it at 22 thousandths of an inch. So that means I am done with this job. I like that. I like when it's easy. So I hope that helped you out. Before I even filmed this video, I made sure to practice on the first 3 cylinders, getting all those ring sets gapped. And one thing that's really important is you want to make sure that each set of rings is specific for each cylinder. So you want to keep them all separated. And I'd also recommend writing the specifications that you ended up with on the boxes for the rings, or the packages or whatever you got going on. And that'll just make it a little easier to stay organized when you go ahead to assemble it. And you best believe I'm going to be making a video when I go to assemble these pistons and cylinders and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. But I think that's all I got for you today. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in to Crafting Cars. Have a good Friday, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.